Hello, and welcome to Time of Death. I'm your host, Dee.
And I'm your other host, Ris.
All right, so Rissa, jump in, do your thing, please, because I'm losing my marbles.
Why don't we try again?
Hello, and welcome to Time of Death. I'm your host, Dee.
And I'm your host, Ris.
And it is take 1046 and 247. That number did not add up.
Dee is like possessed right now. I don't know what's going on.
My head just spun in a circle, but we're fine.
I wish I could see you and all these facial expressions you just made. But anyway, if you're new here, welcome. We are two nurses that love to talk true crime. We like to focus on cases that have a heavy medical influence to them or cases that feature a medical professional as the perpetrator or the victim. So welcome, and we're so happy to have you.
Absolutely. And we have several new followers. Just want to give them a shout out. We love you. We love you already. We don't even know you, but we love you.
And welcome to the party.
Welcome to the party.
Okay, take us away.
Partying like his 1999 and 2024. We're only 25 years late.
Is that when this case takes place? 1999?
Hell no. It takes place in 2024.
Oh, okay. Okay, makes sense.
Yes. So buckle up.
I just want to give a quick disclaimer before we get into this case. Everything that we present today, we've done with our own research. No one has been charged with anything. And these are just our own opinions.
It's all alleged.
Thanks, Dee. Without further ado, here we go.
Today we're covering a deeply disturbing and heartbreaking case, and it's one that's left many New Yorkers shaken.
New Yorkers.
We are not New Yorkers, but
not?
we sympathize. It involves a 95-year-old woman who was violently assaulted in her home by someone that was hired to protect her and take care of her home health care aide.
Oh.
Awful, awful, awful stuff. So July 21st of this year, 2024, Dorothy Foye, and I hope that I'm saying that right, was at her home in Upper Manhattan when her home health care aide, who is unnamed at this point, this person was hired by her family through Med Flight at Home, a home health care agency based out of Brooklyn, New York. This individual, who is a woman, began cursing at Dorothy and throwing items at her until Dorothy fell. And this is all according to footage from cameras within the home.
Okay.
Dorothy, who relies on a walker at baseline and wears oxygen as well. Mm-hmm. So a very frail, brittle 95-year-old woman.
95?
95.
Dang.
She struggled to defend herself from her attacker as the aide struck her several times, including at least once with a metal kitchen pot.
Oh my God.
So a very disturbing situation. Fortunately for Dorothy, her family again had multiple cameras in the home, and her terrified granddaughter was actually witness to this, who immediately contacted Dorothy's daughter who lived in New Jersey. After she reached out to who I assume was her aunt, Dorothy's terrified granddaughter, Tiffany, immediately contacted Dorothy's daughter who lived in New Jersey. I assume this person was Tiffany's aunt.
Okay.
And Tiffany then called the aide. And when she spoke with the aide assured her that everything was fine. Tiffany then told the aide, you can't yell at her. Don't yell at my grandma. Don't yell at Dorothy. And the aide was like, oh no, of course not. Absolutely calm, sweet, pleasant. So Tiffany feels better and is like, okay, like, crisis averted. Like, this is a misunderstanding.
But did she see her hitting her?
At that point, it wasn't hitting, but I think she was throwing things at that point.
Okay.
So Tiffany then calls her grandmother, Dorothy, and she's shocked by what she hears on the other end of the phone. I hear the aide in the background. It was like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. screaming profanities at Dorothy.
Oh my God.
So sweet as pie talking to the granddaughter on the phone, in reality is continuing to abuse and harass this poor old lady. The aide was seen on security footage throwing water bottles, cans, and other household objects at Dorothy before suddenly disappearing. You could see Dorothy pleading in the video, begging this woman not to hurt her. And unfortunately for the family, or I should say fortunately, Tiffany is sitting there watching this all unfold in real time on her phone.
Mm-hmm. So she was throwing things at
Dorothy.
Tiffany's grandma?
Yeah, Dorothy.
All right.
Throwing it at her. She threw a pan, hit her with a pan. This poor woman fell. It was like a very violent situation. And how this all kind of was triggered was that they had gotten into an argument about changing bed sheets. And apparently Dorothy had found alcohol bottles hidden in the home that we assume that the aide was drinking.
This was a live-in aide?
I don't know if it was a live-in. It's, again, I don't have all of the information. Yeah. After this violent outburst, the aide went on to completely wreck the home, left faucets running, tossed water onto the floor, I'm assuming in an effort to make Dorothy fall again. Totally disrespectful and a very evil, calculated thing to do.
Yeah.
After this incident, I guess Dorothy did have medical attention, is recovering. Still, her mobility is compromised. Being 95, it's already compromised. But I guess that she couldn't even lift her arms above her head, which is heartbreaking. Gosh. The family has gone on to hire a new aide from a different agency, but they want MedFlight, the agency that brought this person into the home, to be held responsible, and they're pursuing legal action. The family had shared that they had other negative experiences with MedLight as well, where inexperienced, careless aides had come in, including someone that left without any notice in the middle of the night, leaving Dorothy alone. No arrests have been made in the situation involving Dorothy and this home health care aide. They have not released any names, so I don't know what the name of this aide is. But what makes this case particularly gut-wrenching is that this is someone who is incredibly vulnerable. The elderly are some of the most fragile members of our community. And, you know, we're talking about a 95-year-old woman who is wearing oxygen, using a walker, and she was violently attacked in what was supposed to be the safety of her own home. You know, it's terrifying to think that this can happen anywhere. Yeah. We really have to be more diligent in screening people who are in patient-facing roles, like a home health care aide. You know, again, this is someone that was incredibly vulnerable. She's home. Thankfully, they had cameras. The aide may have not even been aware that there were cameras in the home.
Yeah.
And that's really the only reason that she was held accountable, or hopefully will be held accountable.
Yeah, thank goodness they have the cameras, because that's like a he said, she said. You know, and then especially with older patients, I feel like it's really sometimes easy to dismiss it as, you know, dementia-related changes, or, you know, oh, they were confused or forgetful, or they didn't understand, where you can have a perfectly, you know, mentally intact patient at that age. But it's sad, because this is elderly people are a vulnerable population, like you're saying, definitely.
Absolutely. And, you know, there needs to be better mental health services available for people who, if this angry, violent outburst is a pattern, again, we don't know. If the alcohol was a contributing factor too, that would fall under a mental health condition. Also, I think this is an important reminder or a highlight that there is a rising trend of crimes against elderly people. According to the FBI, violent crime against the elderly has seen a disturbing increase from crimes ranging from theft to physical assault. And keep in mind, we can't ignore that the physical toll, yes, that assault does take, especially on these very vulnerable bodies. They're more fragile. You know, they fall, they might break a hip, whereas a younger person would be able to get up and walk away. Their immune systems are also more, I keep using the word vulnerable, but vulnerable. They're more susceptible to infection, and recovery from trauma is much slower.
Yeah.
It may not even be possible.
But you think about it too, like a lot of elderly people are on blood thinners, you know,
Absolutely.
from falls. They can potentially have life-threatening effects after falling. But no, I agree. It's a big problem.
So this is an interesting statistic going based on what you said, because you mentioned blood thinners, some underlying medical conditions. The mortality risk for an elderly person after a fall, immediately after a fall, is 9.6% within the first 30 days. And that number climbs up to 33% after a period of 1 year. So the fall itself can cause complications that decrease mobility. They may be more susceptible to pneumonias. You know, if there are open wounds, their body may not be able to fight off infection.
Yeah.
So it causes a cascade. The mental and emotional scars run just as deep. Elderly victims of crime often experience a heightened sense of fear, helplessness, and depression. Being attacked can completely strip them of their sense of safety and also what little independence they had left. So it is really awful. And again, I think it's important. This is a great talking point for society, discussing how we really need to do better in protecting the elderly. You know, the attack on this woman may be a very isolated incident for her individually, but the numbers show that the violence against elderly people is trending upwards. And it's not just physical violence. There are financial scams, emotional abuse, elder neglect. All of that falls under elder abuse.
And it's in every community.
Every community. The National Council on Aging estimates that nearly 5 million elders are abused each year in the United States. And that's only cases that are reported. So just imagine how large that number really is if everything was actually reported. That's 5 million per year just in the United States.
Just the elderly.
And just the elderly.
I'm reading on the World Health Organization that around 1 in 6 people 60 years and up have some form of abuse in community settings during the past year.
It's terrible. It's terrible. And, you know, I think the one silver lining in the story is that the family was very vigilant and aware of this.
Yeah.
You know, they had the cameras and, you know, when we see something wrong, we need to step in or we need to call for help. So kudos for the family for being proactive and doing everything that they could do in that moment to ensure her safety. Yeah, and just a reminder for our listeners, if you have an elderly family member, neighbors, just check on them. Awareness is the very first step in knowing the signs of elder abuse. It might be bruising, changes in behavior, sudden loss of change in financial status, you know, recognizing that these crimes are going on and helping address it as soon as possible in a timely fashion before they get worse and they escalate.
Yeah.
And I think it's also important to mention that there are resources, like I referenced the National Center on Elder Abuse. Ris mentioned the World Health Organization. You know, these are resources that really do work tirelessly to educate and protect the elderly population.
And I know, like, Dee and I and a lot of healthcare providers are mandated reporters. But again, if you see something, say something. Dee's favorite
Gosh.
one-liner.
Yes, my only one-liner. The one thing I got left. But no, seriously, if you do see something, say something. If you see something, say something. And it's a heartbreaking case, but it's also a call to action.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if we don't rally together to protect, you know, a vulnerable group who really is. So just stay vigilant, stay aware, and most importantly, stay compassionate. That's going to be my quote for tonight.
That's a very good quote, Dee.
Thank
Very
you.
thoughtful, Dee.
Thank you. They don't call me Thoughtful D for nothing. It's true.
It's her nickname now.
Yes, no, it's been my nickname. Okay. Thoughtful D. Compassionate kitty.
Well-
No. Compassionate kitty and diligent donkey. That should be our new names.
No.
Bobby is like, wow, she is completely whacked out. She's whacked out. You know how much chicken this cat ate today?
This cat, Dee was Dee was loading him up on the chicken.
Just me. You were like he probably ate a whole rotisserie chicken. He's like, it's not true. It's not true. More chicken.
He loved it. He tried slipping it off the table with his paw.
Oh my god.
Like, let me get that sandwich.
That's mine. That's mine.
You a good boy? Are you a good boy?
No.
Are you a fluffy boy?
Yes.
You're so silky.
He looks like a black chicken.
They probably can hear his purr on the
Hold, let me
microphone. Just take we're going to do this segment of ASMR.
You hear? You hear?
Purr louder, Bubba.
Such a docile dog. Okay.
ASMR. ASMR.
Wait, I'm gonna do the one where they touch their teeth.
You have to do it into the microphone. Ew, it sounds like someone's knocking.
Mom, do you want to tell your story? Go ahead.
Sorry.
About my cracked tooth
Yeah.
All right, come tell on the microphone.
and entertainment.
I was gonna say something. I'm not gonna say it.
Here's a little tale from our mother.
Marissa. I was gonna say. Go ahead, Mom.
I love to tell stories, but this was a couple nights ago, and this is a true story. I have a little 7-month-old teeny dog. Now, her name is Lily, and she's probably 8 pounds, at most 10 pounds. And she's very fiery and very active and very dramatic, and she fits right in my family. And the other day I was sitting...
Shots fired.
I was sitting on the couch talking to Dee, as a matter of fact. And I was looking at my phone. We were conversing about something on the phone, and my little Lily comes blasting into where I'm sitting on the couch, and like 80 miles an hour. She was like a softball, and she cracked me right in the face. Split my lip, smacked my tooth, and I was not a happy girl. Not at all. And I'm neurotic about my teeth. I take very good care of them. When I was a little girl, I wore braces, the whole works. And so I've always been really protective of my teeth. And so that set me off. I was not in a very good place emotionally. And I was bleeding, and I was a little bit of a mess. But everything is well. My mouth is healing. The swelling's gone down. I still have my bruise, and I look like I'm a prize fighter. But it's all good. My tooth is fine, thank goodness. I just have to eat soft foods for a month. But we're all good. And Lily's head is fine. I don't think she even felt it. That's the end of my story. I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you, Mom. I know I did.
Me too. Ris, you gotta give some
All
feedback.
right, let me give some feedback. Dee, this was a good case.
Hi again. I have some takeaways. I love this podcast. I am here every week watching my daughters. So proud of everything and who they are. But I love to be around them. And but I do have some takeaways. I think that they're each of their podcasts,
Mom.
each podcast is helps spread some very important takeaways that I think benefit everybody. And tonight, I'm looking at the elderly as a very vulnerable population, but also children. I mean, babysitting. I raised my children, and babysitting, leaving your children. You think you know who you're leaving your precious babies with, but do you really? And anyway, and your children are vulnerable just as your elderly loved ones are. And I think, it's very sad that we have to be always concerned about safety and the protection of our loved ones and people in general. I mean, I think people need to have a high standard for themselves of who they are so that we could treat everybody in a kind, compassionate way. We always should be trying to become our best. I feel. I know this is my personal belief, but I think for self-satisfaction, for enjoying your life and getting the best out of your life, we have to be interested in becoming our best. And becoming our best, what does that mean to you? What does that mean? To me, it means that I'm treating people, especially the people I love, respectfully, and always help them to, or always let them know how much I love them and how appreciative I am of having them. And I think that when we have those close relationships and are thriving in those close relationships, we could be kinder to other people, everyone. And that's just my own little thinking. Good night.
Thank you for that insightful feedback. She was not a paid promoter of our podcast. Okay, I guess I'll tell you all a story.
Story time.
Story time. Let me tell you all about the time I was walked in on while I was using the bathroom in the staff break room. This was relatively recent. So, as many of you probably know, if you're
Wait,
in the...
hold on.
What?
I know this is a fake story because nurses don't get to go to the bathroom during their shift.
Well, that's true. That's true. It was maybe 5:30 p.m. I'd been holding my bladder all day long. As many of you know, we don't really pee that often, which is not good. And I'm a huge advocate for peeing when you have to pee, or pooping when you have to pee, or eating when you have to eat. But I was going to the bathroom. I went to the back. The way our staff break room is set up is we have the break room, and then there's like the boys' locker room and the girls' locker room. And then once you're inside the locker room, there's a toilet, like a bathroom. So I scurry in. No one's back there. I just go right in. I went immediately to the toilet, I guess. I thought I locked it, but I guess not. And I'm peeing, just taking a breather. And I hear steps coming in through the break room, through the girls' locker room. And I look up at the door and I think, oh yeah, I locked it. So if they try to open it, that's fine. So the sweetest ever APRN opens the door. And she goes, oh, I'm so... And I said, oh my God, I must have... I must have forgotten to lock it. Oh my God. There you see just my butt cheek on the toilet. Like, I know she saw my whole butt. But it's fine. But, yeah, that's the thing. So when I left the toilet, you know, I left the bathroom, washed my hands before I left, of course. And she's like, smart to say that. Hand washing, number 1.
This, we don't know who the narcs are.
So I leave. I go back out and I'm precepting. So I tell my little preceptee, this APRN just walked in the bathroom. And she's like, oh my God, I can't stand you.
Maddie, we love you, Maddie.
And then, so the APRN that I'm speaking of comes over because, of course, we have a patient. And she's talking to me and Maddie, and I cannot look her in the eye because I'm so embarrassed. And I was like, oh my God, I don't think I can look her in the eye like ever again. But the next shift, we talked, and it was right back to normal. We even chatted. I never brought up about the toilet, though. I never brought up how she walked in on me peeing.
She was not peeing. You definitely were not peeing.
Okay, I lied one time. I'm just lying to make myself sound better. Okay, you really want to know?
I knew it.
You really want to know?
I said, peeing?
I pooped, okay? It's normal.
All right, Ris did her story time. I'll do mine. So let me tell you guys a story. This is recent. This is at my job. My job has a really nice area where they do a lot of research. And where I work, the toilets are not as nice.
My toilets are not nice, Dee.
My toilets are not nice where I'm working full
Do you have stalls, or is it just one singular bathroom?
stalls,
Oh, yeah. Okay, then mine's nicer.
but they're rinky-dinky.
Rinky dinky.
So I told like one of my coworkers, I go, this is my first week of working. I go, where is a good bathroom to go poop? Yeah, because I need to know. For a long time, I couldn't poop outside of my house.
That's because of what happened when you were a daisy.
Stop, Mom! So anyways, she said, oh yeah, there's a nice bathroom down there. I was like, great, cool, sounds good. And usually when I have to go, I have a little time. So I had my badge, I swipe my belt, go on a hunt for looking for this bathroom. And by the time I actually found the bathroom, it was an emergency.
Oh my God.
I don't know anyone there. So I finally, where's the bathroom? Where's the bathroom? Where's the bathroom? Where's the bathroom? Oh my God, tell me where the bathroom. I need the bathroom. And I just make it in time. I run in, I do my thing. And then it took a little time. I come out and I go, oh my God, how do I get back? So I had to have them escort me back to my unit to get back after I pooped, and I was running around clutching my butt, trying to keep it together.
That's a great story, Dee.
Yeah, listen. That's not even a bad one.
Wait, and have you returned to that?
Huh?
Have you returned to that bathroom for your other
Oh,
bowel
yeah,
movements?
That's the nice one.
And now you can find your way back?
Oh yeah,
She's evolved, people.
I'm evolved. I have a map.
You know, pooping is normal. It's good to poop. What's wrong with it? See, this is why we need to talk about it, because of reactions
Break
like
the
that.
stigma
Break the stigma.
of stool.
Okay, this is another story on the same topic. And it's none of my children. It's not me, but I'm not going to say who it is. I'm going to protect their identity. But one day, it was late in the afternoon. It was getting dark. I think it was like when the days were shorter and it was kind of cool out. Oh, no, it wasn't cool. It was warmer weather. I'm sorry. But somebody I know it was at my door. And it was very strange because usually this person walks in.
Okay, you little.
Anyway.
Tell them who it was.
No, I didn't. But anyway, so this person is just standing there. And I'm like, what's the matter? What's wrong? And this person goes, I had an accident. And I said, oh my God, I'm sorry. Are you okay? And this person said, not that kind of an accident. And so I just started cracking up like I am now because it was so funny. I knew that this person had an accident in their pants. I still laugh at that story. And it's been many years. Oh, God.
That's a classic story from our childhood.
Oh, it's so funny. I can still see that face.
That's bringing you so much joy.
Oh, dear.
Mom has to leave the room. Anyway, that's I think it for tonight. Thank you all for listening. Please like us, rate us, review us, like us
Tell your friends.
if you're so inclined.
Yes, thank you guys. We're gonna call it. The time is 1950. It's 7:50 for all you non-military, non-medical folks. I'm tired. Love you guys. Good night.
Dee just had like immediate sleepiness set on.
Yes,
She's ready for bed.
I'm ready for bed.
Okay. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week. Bye.
I can't believe we had this conversation.